searching. I never know it all, but I always want to know it all, and that's the big difference. I want to know. So as I want to know, and the things check out, this is what I do when I lecture and talk. I share what I've found out to be true, and again, there's no truth for you to decide what truth is. Our planet, at this time, is going through a big change. I understand that our planet is trying to go from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And that's why when the fifth dimension came out in the 70s, they were ahead of their time. Way ahead of their time. And that's why they're noted for about 5 cuts, but the one that they stayed with at all was the one who was given they were fortune tellers. When they were, what is the moon is in the 7th house, and Jupiter lies with Mars, and people come to our planet. That was what they were formed for. The Creator gave them other things to let them make money, but they were the awakeners. A group that would never go old. Earth, wind, and fire. Because everything that they did was futuristic. Because the future is now. Okay? How's that old axiom go, that statement again? Today is the yesterday you dreamed about tomorrow. Whatever is present and wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. I am there. The I am present. This is nothing to do with religion. I'm not selling you any religion. I don't even get into that. I'm saying again, wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. And wherever you are is where you can begin to do more or less, depending on what you decide in your mind. If our planet is going from the third to the fifth, as I believe, then if you're going to stay alive on a physical body, you're going to have to do a lot of change. Because you can't dwell right now in the fifth dimension. That's why you're third-dimensional people on a third-dimensional planet. That's why if the planet is destroyed, you will cease to exist on the planet. But you'll still be here. Yeah. Wisdom speaketh from the mind when he doesn't know what he's talking about. Now, let's go another way again. You are built to stay on a third-dimensional frequency planet. Your mind is built to live in the cosmos. Your mind is in your body, associated with your brain. But you are not. You are in your body to learn. Now you say, well, now you're really getting way out. Yeah, I was going to go there, but I'm going to take you with me on this one. You're going to be able to easily follow me, because now I'm going to break it down so everybody can understand. When you get all of this exasperating thought going on, tonight you go home and you'll do what? You'll go to sleep. And I'll ask you, where do you go when you go to sleep? And you say, I don't know, but I know if I don't do it every 72 hours, if they're trying to people on guard doing everything else, you go to sleep standing up, you go to sleep holding your rifle, you go to sleep holding your baby, you go to sleep. You will sleep every 72 hours, and if it puts you on drugs so you can't, you'll go crazy. You must sleep every 72 hours. Where do you go when you go to sleep? You go off the third dimension into at least the fourth dimension every night, or whenever you go to sleep. And you take it for granted, and in fact, what do? You look forward to it. Because it helps your stupid, crazy, messed up bodies, those crazy thoughts and those virulent, poisonous, acidous conditions, to heal themselves. Now, I didn't call you stupid, I said your bodies. You're not your body, right? So I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to your body. Watch what I say. I like to tease you. I want you to think dimensionally. You go to sleep because toxins, poisons, acids, thoughts, food, or drugs have now built up in your body, and you're tired. If you're an open vessel, you never get tired. But because you are not the body, you get tired of being in the body, and you must become free. Did you hear me? If you are not the body, what are you? Spirit, soul. If you believe you're spirit and soul, then you must understand when you lose your mind, you're losing your spirit brain. So you have to keep control of your brain so you can find your spirit. Or else you both might get lost. Yeah? Okay. All right. You are a spirit with a mind, experiencing something you said you needed, and somebody else thought you better have it. And the better you find out what you're here for and do it, and stop listening to others tell you when you can't, the freer you'll be, the more spiritual you'll be, and then you'll be successful. You can help others, because if you help yourself and don't do it, you go do it again anyway, but it's there to share. Whoever gets there first is supposed to reach back and help. Or watch where they are and learn better where they are, and then therefore they don't have to repeat it again. Life is very simple. The Creator is very simple. Man is very complex because man lies. And when you lie to yourself, you lie to anybody. We're living in a sea of lies on a third-dimensional planet. We're trying to go where truth is and expand our consciousness. And if you want to keep the physical body, you're going to have to change your ways. Well, there's a man who is a very pygmy of, I don't even know what to call him. I'm looking at the man in the mirror, asking him to change his ways. Here's an example of a man who's not white, black, yellow, or brown, who's universal, whose music gets to everybody of all ages, and he can create it just like that. But he got so multiplexed that in his childhood, when he needed it the most, he didn't have it. He's been trying to rebuild that all his life. But that's what geniuses are. Geniuses come in all sizes, forms, fashions, and religions. But you're a genius yourself. You're a genie, a genius in your gene pool. And your gene pool is now trying to expand on the helixes to make you more than you already are, but no more than you could be. Yes. I like to make learning easy, so forgive me. That's not an evil thing. I'm just glad because you're now thinking with me again. Your pure mind, enwrapped in something they call a spirit or a soul. You came into the physical plane. That's why this planet was chosen for you, and that's why you came to it. In my father's house, there are many mansions. Do you really think that in the Milky Way galaxy alone, now understand this, I can't count too well, so you have to help me along with this. You see if you can, if I get lost. Okay? You got 1, okay? And you got 100, and you got 1,000, and you got 1,000,000, and you got 1,000,000,000, then you got a decillion, then you got a nonillion, octillion, and it just goes on and on and up. In the Milky Way galaxy alone, there are like 1,000,000,000 different planets. No, I'm sorry, suns. Suns. Around these suns there may be planets. Now, out of all of that just in the Milky Way galaxy, which is like, hear this one now, which is like a drop of dirt in your backyard. And you think you're the only intelligent life form? The only intelligent? That word right there makes an oxymoron. On this planet, where is the intelligence? I'm still looking for it. When they first launched the satellite, all the way back here, I think it was 1962 or something, and it read back and it said, as it looked back, it said, there can be no intelligent life on this planet. And they said, that satellite is all messed up. I need a planet. Satellite was very smart. You know, what is intelligence? Fighting wars, giving people they know no good, lying, cheating, taking drugs. I mean, that's intelligence. That's the intelligence that this planet wants to lose. Because this planet says there's got to be more, and I want to be a little bit more. I paid my duty, paid my penalty. I want to go to sleep. So it can free itself of what it really is. So I'm simply saying this. If time is speeding up, you have to speed up. The things we talked about at the beginning are 3 things, and there are many more, but 3 basic things I think can help you to get there. The diodes to protect you from the radiation which is holding you back, threatening your physical body, causing you to have all kind of traumas mentally and all, and causing you pain, because pain is a way of getting your attention. Something is wrong. The magnets, which can help you to heal faster, to put more oxygen to the red blood cells, to help you to have the hormones in your body and all function on a faster rate of body, and your glands doing the same thing. And the monatomic gold, the diodes, diodes and magnets, the monatomic gold to help those cells to speed up faster without burning themselves out. It's giving you the kind of fuel that those cells will need in order to do the things you want. The green things, of course, are your heating. They're photosynthetic also. We need green chlorophyll. The plants are photosynthetic. They take sunlight break it down into energy, and use it as power. Now, here's where we're going to go. You have a pineal gland up in what is called the hypothalamus portion of your brain. You have also sharing that throne of power what is called a pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is what now your physiologists and physical science teachers and so on and so forth call the master gland. I say, how can it be the master gland when it's getting its marching orders from the pineal gland? Let that particular pituitary gland operate without the pineal gland, and you get mankind. Let it work with both out, you get human. And to make sure that all that functions like it should, you have sitting on top of the spine your reptile brain. The first thing that your energy, the sap of life, has to go through is through the reptile to see if it can get to the L brain or the right brain. And if it says no, you go back to the basic 4 F's. Feed, flee, fight, and fornicate. You thought I was going to say something else. Like all those rappers do. Well, hip-hop. No, I can use intelligence and still be hippish and hoppish. But you know, that's all that brain does. And that's all now they're trying to get you to do and be. Feed, flee, fight, and fornicate. When you get past the reptile brain, now you open into the land of Oz. And if you don't get caught following the yellow brick way and all the other yellow things and hoppies and poppies and everything else, you might get to see the master of Oz, the wizard, the wise one, because he and she is up there at the same time ruling you. It's just a matter you didn't go to that session. You went to the other ones and got sidetracked a little bit. So as you journey into Oz, you're now journeying into Oz-like, and backwards Oz is Zo. With 2 O's is a zoo. So whether you stay on one or the other, it's just a matter of what journey and what trail you're going to take. The planet is chosen to take her trail now. It's going to be a female incarnation. And that is, you're going to have to speed up your vibrations, eat right, think right, and try to do right. You're going to find all kind of opposition at this time for anybody that tries to do that. Because that reptile brain and the dracons that it represents don't want this planet to go up there, because if it does, they can't go with it. And then the biggest food source, mentally, physically, and spiritually, you will be gone. The biggest food source, mentally, spiritually, and physically, will be gone. He said, nobody can eat me. Nobody can eat me mentally or physically or spiritually. Well, yes, they can. Because your life force has a certain vibration. You get it too clean, it's like, again, if you eat something too dirty, it mess over you. When you're vibrating in a certain way, you have energy that's going through you that some creatures can't stand. Your best protection is how fast you vibrate. Because it's like some of these little, they got a cockroach, they got a spider, and they got some kind of a fly that everything can eat. But it gives off a nasty vibration and a poison and a smell, and most of the big creatures leave it alone because it's not worth the effort. Stomp it maybe, but that's about it. They're not going to eat it. Because the vibrations are so out of tune with what that creature can eat that it can't eat them anymore. You look around on this planet, you see dragons everywhere. Municipal buildings, libraries. I'm not going to go too far, but I'm going to go far enough. Your libraries, your mountains, pagodas, indigenous people's things, the ziggurats down in Tiahuanaco and Uxmal and Cecil, Chicken stepped ziggurats, where it used to be down there for certain reasons. They had a movie that they made, really apocalyptic. This is my friend there. He's not really my friend, I'm just saying. Always goes there, but he always goes there a little bit late. So there, You had your ziggurats. Pyramids that the dragons used to land their craft on top of and walk down the causeway. On the other end, over in Egypt, a place they used to call Africa, it was misnamed, you got your equilateral triangle, a whole different kind of structure, another pyramid there. One was to radiate energy to other planets that had pyramids, and to say that there was at least a structure now that the wise ones had built, which this planet now might be able to have higher frequency. The other one said, I don't want it happening, so we're back here to eat the people up some more, scare them to death. And so he had an opposite ends, two different kind of structures. One that the gods could travel with, and one that the Creator wanted. One that could lift you to high consciousness, and the other could lift you to the consciousness where you're just enough to be eaten successfully. Apocalyptic shows what they call the people, the Aztecs now, who were sacrificing. And of course, we're all looking forward to 2012, the end of the Mayan calendar. I don't know what all that's about, because I sure don't understand the consciousness about this. First of all, the word pyramids was a Greek word. It meant that went straight up, pyramus. There were no pyramids before the Greeks named them, but the structures were there. They were called mirrors. There were mirrors on Mars, mirrors on the Moon, mirrors on Earth, mirrors on Venus, mirrors on Pluto, mirrors on Saturn, and all its 12 rings and all its many planets within it, some of which you'll begin to see because they're in a higher vibration than you are at this time. Either believe the Greeks only or understand what the ancestors used to say about mirrors. They're not pyramids, they're mirrors. Pyramus and pyres burn on something going straight up like a spigot, and you're still going to spigot it, and they eat you still. Not the Greeks, but the people of which that language was developed. 325 A.D., when, after sacking Persepolis, Alexander the Great came into Egypt. His name was not Alexander the Great. It was Alexander from Macedonia. And he was not Richard Burton and Shakespeare and actor playing the part. Okay? These were people that nobody even knew what they were talking about. But they learned one thing. They better learn quickly, because if not, they were going to get eaten, beaten, or smitten. All right, smitten. Whatever. So here they were. They didn't know what they were saying, and that's where the term "it's Greek to me" came from. Because nobody knew what the heck they were talking about. But they knew that they were nasty, eating, fighting people. They couldn't read in general. They couldn't write, and they had no religion. That's why they built the great Alexandrian Library. They couldn't read, couldn't write, had no religion. Right? That makes sense to you, doesn't it to me? Huh? The great temple of On and the school and research center at On, which people from around the earth had been traveling there for the longest to see, was already structured. All they did was sack it, burn it, and take 3 generations to get one of them to teach him a little bit about it. And yet we say the great Alexandrian Library. What was at On? Or what was on On? Or what was in on? Astronomy, which was called astrology. Hermetic sciences. Real biology, the difference between the various creatures of Earth, some of which walk bipedally. Those that live in the Earth, on the Earth, and outside the Earth, and why. What planets were so designated, how you can tell the life on a planet by watching its moons, or absence of. Understanding the real basis of nativity. Understanding again the 4 rivers and the 8 oceans. Understanding so many things there that now mankind is just beginning to come back to, and you're supposed to have mastered in the main if you have an active pineal gland. Because the pineal gland, you thought I forgot where it was, secretes, I never forget you, so I'm not going to forget me, secretes melanin. As the grade of melanin lets you go forth if this planet goes from 3rd to 12th dimensions, or die out if you misuse it. It is the adapting frequency from the Creator and the lesser gods, those that were favorable to the Creator. It was a gift and is a gift and still is the biggest gift you could ever get. You ask, does God smile upon you? Does the Creator love you? You have melanin. You don't have to even ask that question anymore. And you incorporate it into that body so you could frequensize it in tune with the Creator or get as low as the atom. It's up to you. You had that choice. Some didn't have that choice. Some that you created or helped create didn't have that choice. But you pay for whatever you do, good or bad. And sometimes, in order to understand moccasins, you must wear feet. You follow that one, huh? Okay. Everything physical is not real. But as long as you're physical, you better treat it like it's real. Other than that, you never become super physical because you didn't understand the basics of all of this. Most of you are here because you didn't understand the basics and didn't understand the Godhead that you were, have, and are, and so you had to get out there with it in order to understand. To the base bottom. You can escape in your creativity, though. That's why almost everything created that's good is created by people with melanin, functioning melanin. You may not be the president, but you sure be down to the worker. You should know where the records are, and you should know how to improve upon how to keep those records. But sometimes, unless you suffer, you never learn what you have and can appreciate it. Some people have to learn it on the physical plane. But everyone is learning it this way on the physical plane is the potential of being more than a God, because that's why sometimes you even volunteered to come here to learn it so you get it right the 1200th time. Many people believe in reincarnation, but they don't understand it. Some people don't believe in reincarnation, but they don't understand it. Either way, if you don't understand something, you must learn it. When you redo something, it means you must have what? Done it before. And why? Because you needed to improve, and you volunteered to improve, or was so sentenced to improve, that you had to understand it from there. Pyramids, or I like to call them MERS, on all planets in the solar system, or else they could not exist, because all planets in the solar system are hollow. Therefore, they have pyramids. There's something going on inside of a planet in this solar system, on the surface of this planet, on this solar system, and in the heavens of this planet, in this solar system. And those life forms on each energy field are as real to them as you think you are to you. And sometimes your paths meet. Sometimes they meet through drugs. Sometimes they meet through lamenting. Sometimes they meet through gleefulness and happiness. Sometimes they meet through concentration and thought. And sometimes they meet because you're a universal person that understands you have more than one vehicle to drive and don't mind experimenting with driving them all. As long as you don't use your cell phone and take drugs while you're doing it. They're now banning cell phone usage in the car for the wrong reason. But it's the right way. See what I mean? How things work out? They tell you don't drive and drunk. Don't drive and drink. Don't drive and use a cell phone. Because you don't do it well when you do so. You can't. You people say, oh, I'm a multitasker. I can multitask. I'm bad. But you've been multitasking all the way down to the basic earth, and so you're going to continue to go even lower than that, huh? Get one thing right and do it right first before you start going into other things. Until you master that, don't say, I'm a multitasker. Say, I'm doing something different right now, but I'm going to get back to what I should be doing soon. You can't do a lot of things right and do them right. It's not possible until you get past the reptile brain. Then not only can you multitask, you can multi-place. You can be multidimensional. You can be everywhere at once, which you really are anyway, but you focused on one reality that was necessary, the so-called physical plane, planet, Earth. But you are everywhere. That's where you go at night. You can go anywhere you want to in your mind, in your dreams at night, to the ends of the universe. If you can imagine, you can be there and do and are. But you forget it. You are focused where you need to be because you thought you either understood or didn't understand. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. Pilgrims, I'm going to tell you that over on the yonder section, pilgrims, you're going to find a new world and a gold rush. And when you're here grabbing up all the gold, make sure that you don't take it with you, because you can't take it on a spiritual plane. Now, as the gold rush happened after the pilgrims who came from across the seas, escaping tyranny, and people taking their gold, they came and took everybody else's gold and did the same thing all over again. So what do they learn? People are hoarding gold because a dollar bill may not be worth any much. It's not worth anything now. But you're using it, so it's worth everything. They have people that have dung chips. Don't make me explain dung chips to you. That are used for money. And if you could buy bread, a place to live, some of you love, you use a dung chip, because it's the accepted medium of exchange. Some people, it used to be phrenologically speaking. If you had an occipital lobe and showed that the people who had occipital lobes could do wondrous things, you grow an occipital lobe or form it. Simply means some people have very long heads, some people have very frontal heads, and whoever's the ruling class at that time, that's the way people want to look, because they are the dominant culture. We won't go into stock exchanges and commodities and so on and going like that, because that would really get you and me in trouble. But I will say simply this: whatever you honor is honorable to you, maybe not to the Creator. Whatever you give energy to is real for you, not maybe to the Creator. Whatever you value is valuable to you, but not maybe the Creator. But the Creator has now said her valued planet Earth is going to ascend. And you are mitochondria on it. When we say mitochondria were, the little things inside of a cell that cause that cell to do what it's supposed to do. The mitochondria can replace the cell governor if necessary, but the cell governor is one that controls the mitochondria. You are the mitochondria of the planet Earth. The Earth is a cell. The cell is in somebody's body. The body is in somebody's screen, and therefore you are on the bottom of the totem pole. And if that's hard to believe, go back within you. Within you are worlds, universes, battles going on, cancer cells fighting, good cells fighting, parasites, amoebas. Everything is going on inside your system, and you don't even know it. I hope the Creator never forgets you like you forgot yours. Then you say it's a miracle that I can heal now. I didn't take any of the drugs and I got healed. I just did it on free thoughts. Well, you cannot do anything with free thoughts. You must take a drug to do that. People praying for people and they're getting better? That's not possible. That just would be something. We got to study that and see if that's possible. People used to pray over their food before they took it in. Pray over water before they got on it. Pray to the air. They call them gods of the air, gods of the water, gods of this kind of thing. Now, under an electron microscope, you can see when you're thinking, wave motions go into liquids. You can change the molecular structure of water, or at least the vibrational of it. The structural change on the physical, it's vibrational change on the superphysical. But you can do it with your mind. You can cause your salivary glands, your digestive organs and all, to accept food by thinking about it first and praying on it. It begins to analyze what's about to go into the mouth, runs through the pineal gland, runs through the pituitary gland, runs through one part of your brain, and now you're prepared to get that food. If the thing tastes bad, bitter, you know it's going to be bad, you prepare so you can get it down quickly, so you prepare yourself to take the bitter. If it's too sugary, you prepare yourself for that sweet taste, and if it's a bitter taste, you're all upset because you prepared for sweetness. It's all in what you prepared in your mind, working on the physical plane. You're in the mind of the Creator. And you're being now influenced because the cell that the Creator is concentrating on is changing. And if you do good mitochondria, you're going to have to change too. You first start by the world you've been given to govern when you jump into these bodies. And then you can get off the planet and see what you can do for yourself. Is that clear enough if you couldn't follow the first one? Follow the second one. The second one, we can get even more basic. I'd really rather not go there if we can. This time on this planet, as it is in ascension, is the time when this planet will still occupy the same space at the same time. But if the vibration would be so different, it would look as though you disappeared. I hear scientists saying all the way, there was a black hole that engulfed in the Crab Nebulae. It just sucked in everything. It disappeared. It changed frequency. And darkness is an absorber of light because all light comes from darkness. So when you get into that kind of understanding, you better understand dark matter, black holes, dark energy. But because it's dark, now they're putting it aside because of prejudices based on race and the reasons for what they think black people are dark. But if you cannot change frequencies under ultraviolet light, you will burn your insides and will have to vacate the body. So now who's got the blessing and who doesn't? Why are they making melatonin? Why are they making melanin? Why are they getting sunscreens? It is not the color, it is the energy that makes for the absence of color or the presence of color, and there's one gland that does it, and that pineal gland is your frequency to space travel infinitum. Anywhere in your mind you want to go, you can go if you have melanin. Unlike the transporters movies, you're not going to leave the physical body here, then pick it up into the atomic structure, then broadcast it across frequencies, reassemble it, and come down there. No, that was good for Star Wars and Trek. I'm sorry, Star Trek. But you can send your mind anywhere you want to, and the tracer element of melanin will work on wherever you go and reassemble something like that, and then you jump into it and experience what you're there. Because your soul is free. Your mind is free. Your brain and your body are limited. Why always take your body with you when you can build one probably better? You don't have to lift the weights and take all the other things to do it. Just go jump in, if you qualify. Qualification time is going on now. What are you now doing with what you have to deserve something more with what you might get? Work with what you have. If it's limited, make it unlimited. If it's not the way you want it, do the best you can to make it the way you want it. But be careful what you want and ask for. Yes, sir. Because you might get it. That is what we're getting now. We thought we wanted something, then we got it. Now we want to get off of it. Well, what are you asking for? Direct your mind to direct your consciousness to tune in and see better than what you think you want. What does the Creator want for you? What is the best part of you, the creative part, want for you? And if they're symbiotic, if they're working together, you'll get just that. If you have a hard time getting something, try another way. I don't mean things that takes effort. I mean things that are superfluous, things that are easy to come by. Because even though it may come to you easy, if it doesn't give you enough backbone and strength to go for more, what good is it going to be? The scientists ask, is there life in outer space? Many scientists still state pompously, after we went through our numerical study going up to Nanian, can there be intelligent life out in space? Well, I don't know if there can be intelligent life out in space, but I haven't found too much intelligent life in space. In you, by making that statement. If ignorance is ever blissful, the professor should laugh all the way to the grave. If they question, can there be life in space? All this was built for people who don't know it existed, to honor them for whenever they would wake up to see that it did exist. I mean, help me. I need help. Yeah, I'm neurotic. Yes, I have deep neurosis at the time. Every time I turn on a television set, just to some of these other professors, read the comic books, or watch TV, I get kind of upset. When I see people killing people and enjoying it and all these things, yet I then realize it was the mind control that did it. Take away the mind control, get back to the Creator's control, take away the brain waves worked by serpents and get back to the creative mind by the universe and the creator, I think we'll all be better off. That's what we really want, but we're afraid to express it. I have 4 pictures here, which I don't know will come out on the screen. I'm going to try and see if it will. If it doesn't, no, you cannot have it, but you can send for a packet. It takes us time to develop because it takes a lot of time to do this again. What you're going to see is, first of all, a lens over the sun. Everywhere you see this little bright light with a lens. The sun rays were so strong that to photograph this, you had to put a lens cap on it. You had to put something over so it wouldn't burn. You're going to see a picture of that one with a flash of light, and then some kind of an object, looks like a chalk mark above it. Now, I don't know how much you'll be able to see this, so I'll put it here first of all. But this is the way it looks. It's very poor. I know it's for big rooms, so it's hard. This is the sun in the center. This is this little flash here, and this is a lens cap over it. This is a picture of the sun with lens cap. This flash here is a spaceship. Okay? It's a ship sitting way out in space somewhere. Okay. Now, how big it is hard to tell because you're getting parallax views. If it's close up, it looks bigger. As far away, it looks smaller. Okay? The next one is a ship sitting out there, and any solid object, when you take it on a parallax or long view, it gives kind of spins out. This is this ship here. Same sun, lens cap, another ship. The little speck up here is the ship. Here, this ship sends out a picture and shows the power it has by creating a hologram. And a hologram will look like a face with certain people on this planet. Ship, hologram, face being formed in space. Look how big the face is. It almost rivals the sun. Who's got that kind of power? Explain what you're seeing here. This is a face, an image, a hologram coming from the sun. This is a ship controlling it. This is the sun, this is the ship. Look how big that face must be. You send away for the packet off the internet, you have to ask for it. And it costs money. What kind of power, what kind of intelligence can create an image of a face bigger than the sun in our solar system? Here's a picture of a close-up of that object. Looks like an upside-down ziggurat. Here's a picture of that ship being fired at by some of the nations on Earth with the torpedo trying to zoom toward hitting it again. They're called sun cruisers or avalanches. The large ones are called avalanches. That's where we get our word avalanche. It was when they came around, the whole Earth trembled. Mountains came trembling down. Sun cruiser, torpedo, sun. Mankind has always fought the gods and honored some gods, fought other gods. Human has always tried to figure out why he or she was here and wanted evolution to prove that they came from the beasts, which they did, but through genetic manipulation. Man has always been searching for God and looking in the wrong place for it. Never looked within, went to churches without. If you've got to go through somebody else to find your creator, do so. If you've got to go through somebody else to find your God, do so. But if you take time before you go to sleep at night, before you take your daily task and start going within and searching yourself and asking, by knowing that you are a part of the creation of Creator, and that you have that right, and asking for that guidance direct, then you won't have to blame your minister, your psychiatrist, your phrenologist, your medical doctor, anybody else. Blame yourself, because now you're taking responsibility for what you said you were going to do. Jump into a body and be all that you can be. You didn't have to go through 16 weeks of basic training to do it. You went through billions of years of understanding to prove you know. Something that shouldn't be was coming over a highway. Some kind of monster that shouldn't be decaying on a beach. Some kind of monster that shouldn't be decaying on another beach. Close-up of the Mitochondria. Closer up of a Mitochondria. Closer up of a fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional parallax and government hologram. Close up of a ghost. This one won't come out too well, but it's another close-up of a ghost. Simply an energy creature on a different parallax, on different plane of vibration. It just looks, probably the cameras are just like a small or something, unfortunately. Plane just ran into a pterodactyl, small baby one, and had to crash, but all around it you can begin to see it was closer look at the claws and stuff as it was hit. This is a baby pterodactyl. I have other pictures, some better pictures, so on and so forth. And again, as long as I'm in town, then we can see what we can work out. Many of you have asked about consultations. I don't know where I could even go to begin to do the consultation you're asking me for, but we'll have to see what's working out. Again, remember that we do have a website and all like this. Behind the Holocaust at 9/11, flying pterodactyl. Not that caused it, but was there viewing. And I have some pictures at 9/11 that you wouldn't believe. For the third dimension, the fourth dimension, and at one time even the fifth dimension got in unison because some people wanted to create something that's going to change the course they hoped of this planet. It's not going to work, but they sure tried hard. I could talk to you for the next 60 hours and never cover the same subject twice. Not because I'm great or egotistical, but because the Creator has opened my mind when I asked, I wanted to know. Right. Sometimes you have to be careful what you ask for, because you might get it. I thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to turn it over, if it's okay, Brother Yuri. Can I open up? Okay, well.
Respond to, okay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I see you stand up your hand. Okay. All right, now where do I go now? Just, yeah. Speak loudly.
What can we do to strengthen our pineal gland? I heard on the tape that when you go to sleep, it needs to be completely dark. And you can't have TV on, you can't have any light. So what can we do?
In the daytime, go out under the sun bareheaded if you can. When possible, not in the snow. Take your shoes off and stand in some grass or something, so you're grounding it out. That will let energy come in and it feeds the pineal to what they call the pons varolii. At night, the energy that the pineal gland builds up will re-radiate in what they call moonlight. It will be light that will come to you on the astral plane. It will give you the energy to lighten up your load at night. In other words, the pineal gland works to create serotonin, tryptophan, things that will let you restfully sleep and use your psychic ability. It charges up in the day, it re-emits it at night, especially between about real time, not these time changes, between about 10:30 and 2:30 in the morning. It works best.
Okay.
Love sunlight.
You have a question?
I was lowering my foot while I was sitting down, and I thought I would write what I didn't want to say. To subtract nothing up, no, subtract nothing down, adds something to nothing. Did he say, I better say good things to him because his wife's driving and I want to go home. To subtract nothing from what he said, the devil was nothing.
Okay, I don't know what he said, but now what do you say? What do you say? Pardon?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
I thought the same way he wrote.
Okay.
No,
I'm not following you. We can talk later. I'm not following you. Sorry.
I get hoarse later.
I'm not following you.
Yesterday I got
Okay. Well,
Go ahead, you had a question? Speak loud enough so everybody can hear, everybody.
Can you say to me, God,
and I explained to you God.
created
God and the Creator. Okay. Okay. Terms are what we paint pictures with when we say words. My universal prime Creator created the firmament, the millions of stars and everything else. God sometimes is found on a cross here on earth. We image our gods by what we think of our Creator or search for both. Creator to me is everything in every place and everything I can think of that made it. God to me is limited. I think I can be a God because the Creator is in me. I have a whole thing I do on sex, okay, which we take very lightly and loosely. And hip-hop denigrates to a point of being obscene. M3 Mafia go out and, I'm not even going to learn this, I'm stupid. And then when what do they call this thing? When
I'll monitor the question.
You're going to monitor the question?
The person that you
okay,
would like
well,
to respond to, okay.
Okay, all right.
yeah.
Well, I see you stand up your hand. Okay. All right, now where do I go now? Just, yeah. Speak louder, please.
Yes. What can we do to strengthen our pineal gland? I heard on tape that when you go to sleep, it needs to be completely dark. You can't have the TV on, you can't have any light. So what can we do?
In the daytime, go out under the sun bareheaded if you can. When possible, not in the snow. Take your shoes off and stand in some grass or something, so you're grounding it out. That will let energy come in and it feeds the pineal to what they call the pons of Varolii. At night, the energy that the pineal gland builds up will re-radiate in what they call moonlight. It will be light that will come to you on the astral plane. It will give you the energy to lighten up your load at night. In other words, the pineal gland works to create serotonin and tryptophan, things that will let you restfully sleep and use your psychic ability. Charges up in the day and re-emits it at night, especially between about real time, not these time changes, between about 10:30 and 2:30 in the morning. It works best.
Okay.
Love sunlight.
You have a question?
I was lowering my foot while I was sitting down, and I thought I would write what I didn't want to say. To subtract nothing up, no, to subtract nothing down, adds something to nothing. Did he say, I better say good things to him because his wife's driving and I want to go home. To subtract nothing from what he said, the devil was nothing.
Okay, I don't know what he said, but now what do you say? What do you
I
say?
don't understand what he's talking about.
Pardon?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
I thought the same way he wrote.
Okay.
No,
I'm not following you. We can talk later. I'm not following you. Sorry.
I get hoarse later.
I'm not following you.
Yesterday I got.
Okay. Well,
Go ahead, you had a question? Speak loud enough so everybody can hear. Everybody.
Can you explain to me God,
Can I explain to you God?
the Creator?
God and the Creator. Okay.
God, what is it? How we want to
Okay. Terms are what we paint pictures with when we say words. My universal prime creator created the firmament, the millions of stars and everything else. God sometimes is found on a cross here on earth. We image our gods by what we think of our creator or search for both. Creator to me is everything in every place and everything I can think of that made it. God to me is limited. I think I can be a God because the Creator is in me. I have a whole thing I do on sex, okay, which we take very lightly and loosely. And hip-hop denigrates to a point of being obscene. M3 Mafia go out and, I'm not even going to learn this, I'm stupid. And then when what do they call this thing? When it's hard out there for a pimp becomes the Academy Award winner with the Academy Award father. I knew it was the end of time then. But that made Hustle and Flow become one of the best movies that all the youngsters go, and now they want to become supreme pimp. I want to serve the supreme creator. Pimp's got nothing to do with it. It's a matter of where your consciousness is. Inside you, you know what is real. Because you have a soul. Souls are here to learn, but they already know. They're trying to now learn what they should know and know what they should learn. So, Creator is everything. God is limited. Lord God's even more limited. They're more limited than you. Because when they go to church, you're supposed to go inside the only temple you'll ever have that you can do something with, the temple you chose to come into to learn with, your body, and your mind, and your spirit, and your soul. Right? Okay, I see so many hands, I don't know which one again. I have to put back as over there before. Yeah. Okay.
Dr. Blair, my name is Ramesses.
Ramesses?
Ramesses. I met you and I'd like to have the opportunity to talk with you. But briefly, in your travels and studies, have you had an extensive opportunity to study our culture from south of the equator on down in our Cableland or into the western regions which most of the scholars today don't really give us a good picture of?
Well, yes and no. I haven't been everywhere, I've been somewhere. I've learned a lot, I hope. Some were good. I learned again, for instance, if you're going to go, well, first of all, things beneath the equator have a left spin, right spin. Things above the equator have a left spin, centrifugal, centrifugal. Even the balancing point of the meridian, which we call the equatorial line, is nothing more but the vortex of Earth. And the Earth's vortex is changing. This is what they call pole shifts, no pole shift, magnetic shift of energy, going from electricity back to the magnetism. And that's when a lot of people are going to die again. But only if your vibrations are low, that your magnetism cannot take it. I found out about Cairo, which is spelled with a K, the crane, before they had picture. One of the pictures were worth 1,000 words again. And I found out there at Cairo that Cairo meant Mars, Kahir, which meant that the Martians were there also at one time. They've forgotten about it. When I'm hearing venerating the Mayans, who were shepherd-type people at that particular time, not capable of astronomy, and taking away the Olmecs, which created the whole thing in the first place, I have to laugh again. Then I have to find the root word Olmec was wrong. It was the Zapatas, the Zapata people, okay, which we call the shoe people, the grounding people. And I understand now that what is called the Mayan calendar was never written by the Mayans or the Mayans, but by the Olmecs, which are misnamed. The Martians that came here a long time ago and fought a battle, for, of, and with you, which you've forgotten about and don't even know. Some of the learned Jewish people know it. They make these movies and they refer to it again, but some of the unlearned non-Jewish people don't know it, and some of the Hebrews begin to understand it, but they don't understand the names. Go back to your root names, not the superficial world names that were made by Sir Francis Speaker, John David Rockefeller, Sir Henry Breasted. They changed all of that and took away documented history to undocumented history, and then sold it to you as history, but yours is a mystery. President Taylor.
Could you elaborate on stargates and some of the facts that are now being activated?
Whoa, man, we'd have to be here. God, I'd love to go there, but I know where that's going to... How can I succinctly Creator help me? Saddam Hussein had a blue sapphire he used to wear all the time. People talk about Henry, the breastplate of David, with all the different things. That sapphire, he said, was a keystone for Allah to unlay our temple down underneath. Sumer and Mesopotamia one are underneath Iraq and Iran. Forgotten about all of that. They have things down there that could change this whole society. And he was one of the triumvirate that knew about this. Okay? Over in that land, they're making a mockery of people with good blood, killing people with good blood to save people with bad blood. War is hell, and you do not have rules of war. When you're fighting war, there are no rules. You become worse than the beast. You become a beast yourself. And bestiality is what creates warmongers. While you're doing that, how can you, and they talk about intelligent life? Let's go back before I get on a real emotional tirade here, because I'm very sensitive about that subject. We are living on a gold mine, but it's not supposed to be smelted, bended, or sold, or traded. It's the pineal, it's the pituitary, it's the gold of our blood, and it's the goal of our souls to reach that goal. The goal within the consciousness of an energy field when you radiate true light. You become blinded because your soul goal, like the energy field, comes around you. That is the only goal to worship, and the rest of the things is trying to keep people from getting off this planet or helping this planet to ascend, and so people can begin to do things a little bit better, a little bit quicker, and a little bit more right. That whole thing over there was a big deal. It's not funny.
Dr. Blair, you have a question here?
Yes, you talk about the feminine principle of the Creator.
The feminine principle of the Creator? Yeah. Well, I have to say Creator is dual sex. I have no idea what the Creator is. I feel that sex is not with the Creator. So the Creator is either he or she. I cannot refer to one, so I just refer to the non-entity, an androgynous being. Okay?
I just wanted to make a comment. You mentioned before about the Mayan calendar and how supposedly the world is supposed to come to an end. Actually, and I learned it as 2011 because the Mayans, I have taken a course and from a an archaeologist who had done the research, in the Mayan country, and they believe that their civilization, they had many civilizations before, and they came in 5,000-year increments. And how we go from 0 on up, and we're in 2000, we started 0 and work our way up. They started at 5,000 and worked their way down to 0. Now, according to their calendar and what was deciphered in their calendar, the configurations brought the end of the particular civilization that they were in at that time, when the Spaniards came and they took all their papers and they analyzed them, and then the archaeologists discovered all their information, brought it down to 2011 in that particular civilization. That's why they feel that the civilization that they were in at the time will end in 2011, and then another civilization will start.
Let me ask you this. I know where you're going with that. I have heard a philosophy similar to that. Let me ask you one question. Whether you go from the Yucatan Peninsula all the way to Mexico, whether you go down